My name is Crystal Tabor, and I'm an EDU 104, and the book that I chose to read was The Teacher Who Couldn't Read by John Cochran. This book is about a man who journeyed through life trying to overcome illiteracy. He hid his secret from his family, his friends, everyone that was around him because he was afraid to be labeled as the dumb kid for the rest of his life. But his story ends in triumph. He did not quit. He persevered through all the doubts and all of the fears that he had. Major points in this book was that he chose to find different ways to overcome his disability in education. He even became a high school teacher, an English high school teacher at one point. And he ended up, he was one of those teachers that had to learn how to incorporate different learning techniques in his classroom. Students learned different ways to participate in class. They did more things together in groups. They were more self-sufficient in their education. While reading this book, it describes his childhood in the classrooms, and I could actually picture this little boy sitting in the back of the classroom, and he called it the dumb row for kids that couldn't read or couldn't answer the questions like they were expected to, or couldn't speak English. This boy would sit in this classroom and the teachers would call on him and he would just hang his head and he would not answer the questions, and the teachers would get frustrated, and instead of asking him what was wrong or if they could help him, they just shook their heads at them and let out sighs of disappointment. So this boy became ashamed that he couldn't read, and he was ashamed to ask for help. In my observations for the classrooms today, I did my first one, and it was a second grade class, and I noticed that there were many students on different levels. They were on different levels with their education. Like, some of them could read, and you could tell the ones that were more advanced and the ones that were not. But I think reading this book, it made me realize that if I'm going to be a teacher, I do not want to be the teacher that shakes their head in shame. I don't want to be the teacher that makes them feel badly because they cannot meet the requirements or the levels of other students. But this boy, he ended up moving on with his life. He went to college, he got married, he had children, he was successful in what he did, but he had such an overwhelming desire to succeed in life, and he wanted to read. He wanted to pick up a book and be able to read to his grandchildren simple stories instead of memorizing them or looking at the pictures to make up the stories that go along with it. His story is very inspiring that you can persevere, you can make it through. I think that it very much inspired me to be a teacher and to look out for the ones that might hang their heads or might sit in doubt of themselves. So I definitely would love the challenge to be able to help the kids that people think that are unreachable in their classrooms.